Hello everyone, AutoChamp Wandelen over here, and right behind me is the Cupra Terramar. Now, this is a really interesting new crossover SUV. It's directly related to the Audi Q3. Now, I have a very big question to ask all of you. Is this a spacious hot hatch? Many years ago, you all are familiar with the brand Seat. Seat is basically Volkswagen Group cars that are rather more funky, let's say. Now they are basically supposed to be Seat cars, but more sporty, more aggressive looking, if you know what I'm saying. So with a touch of some Porsche vibes or Lamborghini vibes. Me personally, I'm not really sure how this is actually going, but everybody loves it apparently. There are people who become fan of this concept. Me personally, I remain skeptical, but why not? It is a cool concept, right? In a moment, we're going to talk about the exterior of this Cupra Terramar. But before we go further, I would first like to tell you all, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and push that like button and leave a comment. And let's get on with this review right now. This Cupra Terramar costs 49,000 euros. Now right over here, you get a 1.5 mild hybrid petrol engine that produces 150 horsepower. Now this configuration is very similar to what I've seen of other car manufacturers. Like I know, for instance, Stellantis would definitely offer something similar to a competitor against this Cupra Terramar. And the first competitor I can think of would be the Peugeot 3008, the Peugeot 3008. And then there are also other competitors. Like if we're looking at Volvo, the first thing that would come to my mind would probably be something like the XC60. It has to be the very first time I see one hydraulic strut holding this bonnet open, guys. Now, when we look towards the front of this Cupra Terramar, the only Seat identity it has would be those angry looking headlights. But for the rest, they've kept the front very humble. Instead, the grille lies underneath over here. You get parking sensors at the front and at the rear, but you only get a rear view parking camera. No 360-degree parking camera, guys. Now towards the side, I see a little bit of an identity crisis. In fact, looking at it from this angle, a few times it had me thinking of something Hyundai once did. I think it was with the Tucson or with the Santa Fe, an old generation, guys. If you look at those windows, they look visually like something Volkswagen did before with the Audi Q4. If you ignore the badge and if you concentrate on this shape right here, it strongly resembles the Kia Sportage, but then in the context of the Volkswagen Group, it does maybe have some reference to the Volkswagen Corrado, a Volkswagen model of the 90s, because I know lately Volkswagen has been obsessing with this design. They employed it on the T-Cross and the T-Roc as well. Now, all four doors get keyless entry, but it's not enough to have the keyless entry. They need to have the Volkswagen Group door sound. Okay, this just sounds like the same sound of a Volkswagen Golf, really. Let me check the rear door. Okay, this is the thing about the Volkswagen Group. Their doors can be hit or miss. Sometimes you have the front doors that sound different to the rear doors. Over to the interior of this Cupra Terramar. I was actually this close to calling it a Volkswagen. And just when I was about to call it a Volkswagen, I see the steering wheel and I already noticed some strong Volkswagen Audi-ish traits. But it doesn't really matter. Let's have a seat in before we jump to quick conclusions, everyone. So already it's obvious that it will be sharing parts with the Volkswagen cars because it's all part of the Volkswagen Group. They share parts to save costs, and that's a normal practice. Stellantis has been doing the same thing. I see that compared to the Volkswagen models, with the Cupra, they aimed for a bit of a Lamborghini twist to it. So they tried to make it all sharp edge in certain senses, although thank God there's no Alcantara anywhere. Instead, you get a different material. The steering wheel is cool, actually. It's a unique material, leather wrapped, and you get some buttons onto the steering wheel that strongly remind me of my experience with Volkswagen cars. Door handle is very similar to what I saw in Skoda. I personally am not a fan of this concept. And then I also noticed that you get those plastic door window buttons, which are the exact same as what I've seen in previous generations of Volkswagen cars and even cars of today. The transmission is right here next to the steering wheel, so you just need to turn it with your finger. That's great. Infotainment system over here, where you also get your climate control underneath. So like Stellantis and like everybody else, they moved everything to the big screen over here. I'm not a fan of this concept, but then, hey, what can you do when it's really the generation of today, huh? When it comes to the rear seats, there's already something interesting. It's quite spacious entrance, I noticed, and that's nice. The legroom is plentiful, guys. The knee room is also good, although there's no backseat pocket. That's already a red flag for me. But I see you get some basic climate controls down there for the rear seat passengers. That's a plus. And then the headroom is plentiful, although the headrest is a bit firm, I'd say. One thing I have to say about the middle row seat is that it feels a bit firm. It feels like you're sitting on a bench. And I have to say there's something about the ambience, the way it's designed. It reminds me of my experience in hot hatch cars, except imagine a hot hatch with a lot of space, guys. This is how the Cupra Terramar is. Now, this is of selective taste. I think you're going to like it if you really want to buy a hot hatch that is spacious. When it comes to the Volkswagen Group, they are best known for their practicality in all models. But look at this, guys. I opened the boot door and I noticed that it's quite plain. There's no, I don't see any 12-volt socket anywhere, but I do see tether points on the side. And I do see an adjustable floor, which is very spacious, guys. So it's a smart boot space, but with no 12-volt socket or anything. So here's my conclusion of the Cupra Terramar. Is this a spacious hot hatch? I think the answer to this question is yes and no. Well, yes, it's quite a spacious hot hatch because Cupra was born from the hot hatch spirit, everyone. So the design does echo some hot hatch vibes about it. But then when you look at it from certain angles and the interior, there's something missing about the Seat passion, or should I say the Seat identity. All I can say is that this Cupra Terramar has potentials, and this is an interesting alternative for those who are a bit tired of the same Volkswagen design and they want some Lamborghini twist. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below sharing your thoughts of the Cupra Terramar and what's it like compared to its amazing competitors.